I'm Liz, and this is Dennis. And this is our tiny home on wheels, Maggie. We've been traveling around North America since 2018, taking our beloved Maggie to some pretty incredible places over the years.
Are you good?
Am I good?
Just breathe.
The past few months, we've taken time off from traveling to work on some much-needed repairs. And honestly, we are ready for a break. So we packed our bags and hopped on a plane to join our friends Mike and Amy, who are currently cruising their way through the Great American Loop on their renovated yacht. Join us this week as we get a taste for boat life and see what life aboard is all about. We've been alluding to international travel being in our future, and it's finally here. Well, at least it was supposed to finally be here. We had plans to go to the Bahamas for the first time, visiting our friends Mike and Amy, who you might have met in Michigan. They are completing the Great Loop, and their boat was supposed to be in the Bahamas. We would get a chance at boat life. It was going to be epic and awesome and amazing, but unfortunately, crazy wind in the month of April has delayed their passage to the Bahamas. So we originally booked a flight to meet them in the Zumas, but obviously they are not going to be there. So we canceled that flight, lost our money, which sucked. And then we ended up booking different flights to be able to meet them in Fort Lauderdale. And then our original plan was to take a seaplane over to the Bahamas to meet them in Bimini. But obviously last minute, passage didn't happen. So now we are flying to Fort Lauderdale, where we plan to meet them and still experience boat life, have a little bit of a relaxing week. Hopefully we still may be able to make a passage over to Bimini. We're not sure, it really just depends on the weather. It's definitely a bummer experience. We went through all the hassle of getting COVID tests within the 72-hour window that's required for the Bahamas. We have our passports. We're still hoping we'll be able to cross into it because we have about a 2-day window before our COVID test results are no longer valid for entering Bahamas, and we have to do everything over again. But yeah, international travel is complicated right now with COVID. It's definitely doable, but there's a lot of planning involved and definitely takes an element of fun out of it.
Beep, beep.
And what up, brother? What up? Popular old boat.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Lida.
I know.
She's a Mexican
I know,
rescue dog, actually. They've also RV'd Mexico extensively. Lida was their souvenir.
We got her in Sayulita.
Sayulita.
That's where her name came from, Lita girl.
Nayarit, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Lida, I need to back up.
There you go.
Okay, babe? Now that we've gotten settled, I'm excited to be able to show you around and give you an official tour of this beautiful ship. Welcome to the Half Shell, which is a 1977 beautifully renovated Hatteras 53. Right now we are sitting in the salon, which is boat speak for the living room. It's the first room that you enter when you come onto the ship, and it has been completely renovated. Even though the ship is vintage, she had a little bit of age on her, you would never know it when you come inside because the previous owner completely renovated the ship. She was an interior designer, and so it has been done beautifully. Most of the furniture that you see throughout the boat did come from the previous owner. It was like sold as a package deal, but Amy and Mike have done a really good job of adding their own personal details and touches all around to really make it feel so homey and cozy. At the front of the salon is the helm, and this is where you would man the ship if it was bad weather. This isn't where Mike normally operates or captains the boat. He does it on the flybridge, which we'll be showing you in a minute, to give you a much better expansive view of everything going on around the ship. There was a bird in here!
I just ate like one piece.
Come here,
Come here,
Nick. Where's the fucking bird at, man?
This is the enclosed lazarette. It's like just a big sunroom. It's at the stern of the boat, which is the back of the boat. And for most ships, this area is open, which allows you to access the dinghy. You can kind of like jump off the back. But I love that theirs is enclosed because it just really extends the living space. They have a table here that we've been eating some charcuterie boards, just kind of enjoying each other's company. It's also a puzzle table. I love me some puzzles. It just is such a nice space. This is also where you access the flybridge.
I'm up here on the flybridge right now. This is where I spend a good amount of my time when I'm driving around. I get a good view of everything from being so high when I'm parking or underway. And then you see all my controls here, similar to what's downstairs. It's like a mirror image. So I got my engine controls, I got my engine throttles, all my gauges, and then I got all my navigation stuff. We got the same thing upstairs as we do downstairs, so I can kind of drive from either place. Radios, XM radio, and then over here too, I added a bow thruster, so it kind of steers the boat left and right without having to go forward and backwards with the engine. It's like a little sideways motor. So now you guys see up here on the flybridge, I'll take you to the engine room. Usually every time before we get underway, there's a couple little things we do in the engine room, checking oil, things like that. And we'll go down there now and check it out. So on this boat, it's a 1977 Hatteras 53. And with these boats were one of the first ones that came out where you'll see the galley where you're standing, and then there's a hallway that I'm in where the engines were actually on both sides separate like this. And a lot of them prior to this, you would have like the engine access was basically from the living room or the salon. You'd have to open doors and kind of crawl down into it. They still have boats that are like that now, but getting into a larger boat, this was one of the first designs where they actually put the engines side by side and you could actually walk around inside of the engine room itself. So it makes it a lot easier to be able to work on it. So you can see I'm straight up inside of the engine, like right over the top of it in the room. And again, there's access to go all the ways around, but these are Detroit diesel engines. They're called an 8V71, where it's actually an 8-cylinder engine. The main kind of big unique things with these is it's a diesel engine, but it's actually a 2-stroke diesel. So these actually were, I believe, designed in the late 40s, early 50s. They used to use these in, from that time on, all the ways I think up until like the 90s, and then they took this model and made it a better version of it. But the whole point of the 2-stroke diesel, which is kind of unique, is it's not like a 2-stroke motorcycle engine or boat engine where you mix oil and gas together. They're still separate, but because of how the way that the 2-stroke is designed for like the size of the engine, you get way more horsepower for the amount of space that it takes up. There's not a lot of electrical stuff on it. They're more like the fuel injectors, but it's not, like fuel injection like you would get new stuff. So it's pretty cool. In a boat, one of the cardinal rules, and same thing with RVs, the less stuff that can go wrong, the better off that you are. So the less things that'll break down.
The galley is just down the stairs on the second floor. There's one more set of stairs that takes you to the staterooms or the cabins down below. And I just love this area. It's very inviting. You have the windows on the side so you can kind of like pass things through. It lets a nice breeze come in when you're cooking. And when the previous owners renovated the ship, they did an incredible job with this space. It's so functional and beautiful. It has like a U-shaped countertop, which allows you to have a lot of people working in here without it feeling overwhelming or crowded. I also love the shiplap that they put on top. It's just like feels very boat-like. There's a dinette just across which has lots of storage in it, and it also has been a lovely place for us to enjoy our coffee and breakfasts in the morning. And they have all of the modern conveniences that you could want from a boat. They have a microwave, a full oven, induction burner. They have these like cool pull-out fridges, and they have more storage for their pantry and their fridge space off to the side. The pantry area actually used to be a cabin. They had 2 bunks here, so a bed on top and a bed down below, and then on this side was a day head, which would be like the everyday bathroom for guests to use. It was like a wet bath. They still even have the toilet in there, but now they've changed it into a little washroom area so that you can do your dishes and have a place for them to dry without it being in the main kitchen. They also have added a washer-dryer combo all-in-one, which steams the clothes when it comes time to dry, which is really cool. And then they've added extra fridge and freezer space, as well as tons of storage for food, which is clearly for provisioning if you're going to be going overseas or going to be out on the water for a long period of time. It's definitely made to be a live-aboard boat and not just like a weekend getaway yacht, which is really cool. The master stateroom is massive! It's like 3 times the size of our guest cabin. They have a beautiful Sleep Number queen bed, there's a TV, so much storage. She even has like a little area to get ready in the morning and do her makeup, keep all her jewelry. This room is awesome. This is our stateroom, aka our bedroom for the next week. I love how warm and cozy the vibes are in here. That just feels like a cozy cabin. And I'm very curious to see how the twin bed setup is going to work for us. I'm hoping it will lead to more restful nights of sleep. I will say one thing that we don't love about our RV is how tight the bed space is, so this could be a very welcomed change of bed style for us. But I love our little room. Now we are in the head, which is boat lingo for the bathroom. There are 2 heads on board. There's one in the ensuite master area, and we have our own private head across from our stateroom. And it has a full shower with like a rain head. There's river stone on the floor, and it has this really cool waterfall tiles, so it's just a very luxurious getaway when you're in the shower. It feels like you're transported to a different place. And if you are curious about what it's like to go to the bathroom on a boat, that was like literally my first question when we got on the boat is, how does the toilet work? They have a very unique system. I guess it's kind of common for boats, but if you've never been on a boat before, this might be new to you. You go to the bathroom like normal, there's water in the tank, and then you just push the empty button. And then once you're finished emptying it, you either push number 1 or number 2 based on the business you just did, and then it puts the proper amount of water to kind of flush things away.
Just to elaborate on the toilet talk, it does have a macerator toilet, so it chews up everything before it puts it into the tank, before it sanitizes and throws it overboard, so there's no like large logs that'll come floating out once it dumps. Just so you know, this is TMI, but this is boat life. Hey, what are you doing there?
Is into the bathroom. Now that we've given you the tour, let's have some fun. We're loving our new camera. We ended up upgrading our filming equipment for a few international trips we had planned and still have some coming up for you. But we are loving it. I just want to film all of this. And it could not be a more glorious day!
Kiss, kiss, good God. It feels like there's nothing missing. Filling my cup with some love in the kitchen. Cause I'm so sweet.
I could get used to this. Their boat is amazing. And even just cruising around Fort Lauderdale like this is a totally different side of Florida we didn't get to explore ever before like this. The dogs here, people are out on their jet skis, the breeze is blowing, the sun is shining. It's flying!
Getting harder to see, brand new. So I keep on smiling like I do. One look in the mirror and I'm back in the mood. Cause I'm so sweet, super Sunday.
I've been tasked with my first job. I have to put the rope around the pylon and pull it and tie it. I think I can do it. Gotta get loosened up. I think all my dancing already loosened me up a little bit. Such a fun day. The dolphins were amazing. I'm loving boat life so far. A++, although I'm also not doing any of the work. And it's a lot of work.
It's gonna be a good day. Today is gonna be a good day.
Since we can't really help them with all of the setup, I was tasked with making a little snack for everybody before you make dinner. This vibe right now makes me really love the idea of boat life. But we're also not the ones doing the physical work that they're doing right now, setting up, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want boat life with a captain.
Uh-huh.
That's what you want.
Captain and then a crew to do that. That's what I want. This is the best part. Thanks. We are pooped. It's been a packed day. We woke up so early to come here, and after our fun adventures on the boat, we are definitely ready for bed. But we're gonna catch you next week with more fun boating adventures. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Until next time, ahoy maybes.
We need that,
Yeah, no, I was good.
Yeah.
No? Too bright? Am I even recording? Oh, I'm recording. Oh, you're recording. My bad.